So, okay, yes, I'm recording.
Okay.
Okay. So I had this experience on Tuesday, which totally threw me for a loop, as some experiences tend to do. And I had just gone outside and I was harvesting eggs for like the 50th time of the day, which is normal, you know. And I started to walk up the steps and I saw that the water delivery guy was here. And I stopped myself because I still have those moments of like lonerness where I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to have to make
Mhm.
small talk or whatever. And but I was like, no, fuck this. I am living an authentic life. I'm just gonna go for it. And I realized that my camera is like falling. I'm just gonna go. I'm just gonna, you know, who knows? I probably won't even talk to the guy anyway. I'm just gonna walk in my house. I mean, there's nothing to be
Right.
shy about. So I
Right.
walked up the steps and I'm almost at the door, and this guy goes, Holly? And I turn around and I'm confused because I don't recognize this guy. And he was like, I'm Darren. We met on Facebook and we talked, and we had a few months ago, we had ended up talking, and I can't really remember how we met each other. It must have been like some sort of recommended,
Oh, you
you
froze.
know.
Yeah. Okay. You froze.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Okay. It's raining here, so that could explain it. But I remembered that like I had talked to this guy a few months ago, and he had had his own experience with where he had vaccinated his child, and then he was waking up about, I wish I hadn't have done that, you know. And so I don't think his child was affected negatively, thankfully, you know, one of the few. But so it was really strange because we had talked before and we had said, you know, because neither of us have any Salt Spring friends and all this, and we were just like, oh, we should totally get together when the spring comes, because this huge, well, I think you know all about that storm that we had in December. We
Yeah.
had like 100-kilometer winds, and we were without hydro and water for 7
Yeah.
days and 6 hours. And that's a bigger story that has to do with like relationships and emotionality and stuff, and maybe we'll get into that at some point. But that threw everything off, you know. So so finally we were meeting in person without any planning of it, right? And we hugged, and there was immediate connection, and then we just stood outside and talked for 20 minutes, and it was just ping 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 back and forth, kind of like with you and I.
Yeah.
And then of course at the end of it he was like, I feel like I could talk to you for hours. And I'm like, ditto, dude. Like, just so amazing that neither of us have really, well, I especially, I can't really talk for him, but I haven't really connected with anybody here. And to have that was really mind-blowing to me, especially because, well, I didn't plan it, obviously.
Right.
You know, it's just a thing
Right.
that happened, you
Those
know, but
things aren't planned.
yeah, but I posted it up in the Fearless group. And, you know, and of course everyone was like, this is amazing, you know, this was totally meant to happen, and everything. And obviously I do totally agree, but he and I had intended, let's get together in the spring, and now it's the spring, and he just shows up at my house. He's like, you live here? And I'm like,
wow,
yes, this is so weird, you know? So I think when the holidays are over, because I guess Easter is this weekend, I don't know, because we don't celebrate anything like that. After that, he's just going to come hang out, and we're just going to talk. And because we were talking so much, I told him about our show, and I was like, he was like, oh, please give me a link. And then we were talking a lot more and connecting, and he was like, we should do a show, you know? So it was very, very interesting. And it made me think, you know, because I've noticed in especially the last 6 months, where I have really gone out of my comfort zone, because I have always been this loner, this lone wolf, you know, this person who I didn't need to go socialize, because I always found that to be a distraction anyway, because, you know, from the age of 11, I was recording in professional studios and meeting other musicians and singers and songwriters and producers. And my mind wasn't consumed with what other 11-year-olds get consumed by. And so it wasn't in me to really have friends. I mean, I had a smattering of friends, you know, throughout my life, but there was nothing serious, you know. Like, my sister's experience was very different. You know, for many years of her life, her whole life was about her friends. You know, she was the quintessential teenager who was on the phone for hours every night after school and stuff like, and I wasn't. I was writing music, I was painting, I was drawing, I was writing books, I was reading, I was listening, like I was observing things, and I felt that was always a distraction. And I've met other creatives before, and we've had this conversation where it's like, it's so hard when you're in the middle of something, like, oh, I'm in the zone, I'm creating something, and then all of a sudden the doorbell rings and somebody's like, hey, want to hang out? And it's like, no, I don't. And it's not personal. You know, it's nothing against you. It's just like, I'm in that place right now. I got to do this. I got to get this out and express it. And that was really cool. But the thing that I've noticed is, like I was saying, in the last like 6-8 months, probably around like September, October is when I really started reaching out to other people and making these connections with Frank and with Randy and with you and other people. And even I noticed it has changed the way that I regard people that I meet face to face on the island too, you know, the cashier at the grocery store and things like that. Like I've never been mean or cold or anything. Like the big smiley Holly is what everybody sees, you know. But now I'm trying harder. Like, oh, how you doing? Like, what do you think about this weather? Or which is like that kind of conversation seems so dead to me. But I'm trying to open something up, and a few times.
Well, you're getting out of your comfort zone.
Yes,
and it's so important, especially now. Everything that I've been looking at, reading. For some reason, I'm trying to, when I connect with something that I watch or hear somebody talk about or read, it's confirmation over and over again that this is the time to get out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
And by doing that, you're going to bring more gifts into your life, because you're actually letting go of the chains that bind, so to speak, that you really bind yourself with. You have the same identical experience as I did growing up. I preferred to be on my own. And when I did connect with people, it was very awkward for me. It was like, how come I don't know how to do this? And I think I know the answer to it. And it has a lot to do with the way I grew up. I was introverted because I think that we weren't really taught, like we lived on a farm in the middle of nowhere. First of all, there was no other kids around, right? And all I had was the animals, really. I mean, that's what we did. We played in the barn, and so that part of my growth, even at school, I felt like a loner. And we talked about this last time. It was very hard for me to connect to people. I felt that I was different than them. And I never connected on a friend level. I only connected in very small ways, but it wasn't enough to drag me into having them as friends. Like I said before in our last talk, there was girls walking around with harems, and I never understood it. It didn't make sense to me, because I guess maybe another part of me was probably so private, because what do you talk about when you really don't have much to say, right?
Yeah.
So I guess in a way it's very similar. Now I'm finding myself also breaking out of the chains. And you know what's really helped me is this whole group, this fearless group.
Yes.
They, like I said, that they changed my life.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. And we changed our lives, but that was like the last little catalyst that was like, okay, come on now, get it together.
Because I had to get out of my comfort zone to even start interacting.
Yeah.
Which was hard for me. Because in the back of my mind, it's like, these people are so far advanced in what they know. What the hell do I know? Once I started getting more comfortable with it, building more confidence, I found that I knew some stuff too.
Absolutely.
I think maybe I put myself down in that area. I have studied a lot. I have grown, and I have learned so much through life to this point in my life, that I do have a story to tell. And I can interact and actually understand what they're saying and be able to comment and answer or whatever, which is something I never ever thought in my life I'd be able to do. Yeah. I didn't trust myself, I guess, maybe. But the more I do it, the more I find I'm learning from them and able to pick up things outside of our group while I'm reading, watching things, and everything is like a little puzzle piece. It just seems to click, 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 click.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. And it just gives me such like, it's like the knowledge, like I think we talked about this too. It can't stop for me. It's a daily thing. I will never stop doing it. And I do it from the time I wake up in the morning, even during my housework. I'm listening to a talk. I'm carrying my pad around with me to make sure I'm absorbing the most important parts of it. It doesn't have to be the whole thing. There's stuff I leave behind, but in everything, there's always pieces that you need and that can further you on your path. And I think maybe that's where we're both at, because it sounds so similar.
Yeah. And this actually ties into something else that I was thinking of that I mentioned to you earlier this week, that there have been a few people in the last couple of months that and you know who they are, that I have had to put at arm's length because they don't value my experiences, and one especially kind of goes out of their way to, what's the opposite of vindicate? Like vilify my experiences, you know, and
or dismiss them.
Dismiss it. That's totally what I'm looking for.
That's the word I love.
Yeah. And that's been really hard. And because it's been with two people that I've been close with my whole life. And so that's, you know, it's family. So it's always harder when it's family.
Absolutely.
But just in the last couple of months, I made that decision of like, I really have to do this now, because I've known for years that these people were toxic, and I need to move past that, because it's holding me back. It's creating blockages where money can't come in and success can't come in and good things just can't come into my life, because I'm so blocked, because I'm so worried about them, because I'm so concerned, because I'm so thinking about them. So, and now that's not the case, because something happened. And this will tie into something else that I was going to say. Something happened a couple of weeks ago, maybe at the end of March, where I just found myself, it wasn't even a decision I made. It was almost like it had happened organically, and I found myself going, oh, I'm just noticing now that for the last handful of days or handful of weeks, I am living as authentically as possible. And I always have, up to a great point. But at the same time, when it comes to conversation, like with people like them and other robotic people who only have a very limited consciousness, you know, I found myself censoring certain things because I wanted to avoid the disagreement and the discomfort from their, I guess, kind of ignorance. But at the same time, if they have a limited capacity for understanding, you know, it's like that. Yeah, it's like that director David Lynch. He said, if you have a golf ball sized consciousness, you will have a golf ball sized understanding, you know. And that's kind of what we're dealing with. And you and I touched on NPCs a few times in the last episode. And I think with NPCs, that's what we come to, is like, you know, people like you and I have this expanded, you know, we are consciously searching more and ripping off layers and all this other stuff. But okay, I'm getting off on a tangent, as I tend to do. But the thing that I realized the other day was the reason that I've unblocked this stuff. And as soon as I made that decision that I'm just going to unabashedly, unashamedly, just going to be Holly, 100%. I'm just going to say chemtrail. I'm just going to say, you know, I'm just going to say religion is a lie and set to control you. You know, I'm just going to say what I think, but I'm going to say it in a different place, you know, because years ago, before I got sick and it changed everything, I was, you know, watching Alex Jones and Project Camelot, and I was so fucking angry. I was so angry about everything, you know, and And one of these people that I'm talking about really incensed that, because that person is very, very angry and always has been.
Mm-hmm.
So that always would, it would trigger that in me to come out even worse, you know? And it was just, once I got rid of that block, that whole, I'm not going to worry about it anymore. I'm going to love them from afar. I'm going to be unabashedly me, but I'm going to do it from a place of love, loving intent and respectful intent, and not the same way I used to do it when I was angry and I was like, you got to stop eating this food. You got to stop watching this thing because it's doing this. They're controlling your mind, man, blah, 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 blah. I was constant like that all the time. I'm surprised I still have a friend from Ontario that still talks to me, you know, and is like, I love you, you're awesome, you know, like has looked past all that, because it was while it was something that obviously helped me to get to this point, a stepping stone, you know, at the same time, I wasn't handling it as great as I could have handled it, you know, but there was a lot of other stuff surrounding that anyway with my health and everything. So I was toxified to begin with. So when I made this decision to unabashedly just be myself authentically, 100%, just say what I say. And, you know, because most of the time when you say this stuff to people, they look at you blankly anyway. They don't really register it because they can't, right? So they just go on with the conversation, and you're like, haha, maybe I dropped a little tiny bomb or planted a seed or something that will come up later when they're thinking about the conversation. Like, what the hell?
And you know what, come up. It may come up later for them. I have seen that happen. But the thing is with all of this is that I did learn the hard way, like you did, to not put it in people's faces, because if they're not there, it's because they're not supposed to be. And you can really damage somebody, too much information that they wouldn't even dream in a million years was out there.
Yeah.
Plus with all of the disinformation, it can end up into a big argument and fight. It can end up into a separation of that person in your life. And it's okay to be able to hang with these person and not say a word. Because, you know, at the same time, these people, whether they're soul people, soulless people, NPCs, whatever, they're still on this planet with us, just growing in their own, in a different way than we are, because they're not supposed to be. And if they're supposed to be, it will happen organically.
Yeah.
And then you're the person they're going to come to. That's why
that has happened.
Yes. And it has happened to me. And that's why the Fearless family, that's why, you know, it's not just us. There's many, many people that are at our level that we don't even know about. But when the shift hits the fan, so to speak, we're there to help. Yeah. So right now, it's not our right, really, to blurt it out to anybody. You got to keep certain things to yourself. I've learned that the hard way, and it has made things a lot easier. Only when the conversation comes up and you are asked, is it a good thing to put a little bit out? And if they want more, they'll fish for it or they'll ask. And it's okay. And that made me, you know, that gave me a peace of mind, in the sense that it's not my job to wake everybody up. I was creating enemies doing it. And I don't want to do that anymore. That's not my job. My job is just to learn right now. And that's why I delve into so much information, because our job is to learn right now. And by doing what we're doing with this show, whoever's going to watch it is meant to watch it. Whoever is not going to watch it or doesn't want to watch it is fine. But if we have the troll type thing going on, which so far we're good, it's going to happen. We'll be good. It's going to happen. It might. Because it will. And all we're going to do is treat that like what we just talked about, with respect, with love, and not get angry over it, and not fight back with words, because that's not going to help anybody. They shouldn't be watching if they're not into this stuff and they want to make nasty comments. They shouldn't even be watching. But there are people that are going to do it. So our information, this is another thing that I wanted to do a little disclaimer. somehow in the beginning, maybe we can record it and just play that in the beginning.
Or we can put it underneath the video too, like
or
just write it out
in words. Now I can tell you what I'm thinking, and I meant to do it the last time, and totally we got onto our conversations like we do and just went with it. But our information that we're putting out today may change tomorrow.
Totally.
Our thoughts about stuff may change tomorrow. So what we're talking about is really only our life experiences up to this point, and they're subject to change.
Yeah.
Because that is growth.
Yeah. And we record on Thursday and upload on Sunday, and anything could have happened between the recording and the release.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
That's that huge difference, right? When I say that NPCs do have this limited capacity, there's only so much room for growth, and there's always room for improvement, but there's only so much room for enlightenment growth. Whereas for people like you and me, it's like, it's boundless. I don't see the edges of a box because there isn't a box in the way that I see it, you know? So when I made this decision that I'm going to keep these two people at arm's length because I think it's better for me, and at this point, this is what they have shown me. You know, it's kind of like that saying, if somebody shows you they don't respect you, believe them. You know? So I'm just like, okay, there are people in my life now who totally respect me, you know, who don't see me as this, well, you're crazy, or you're stupid, or you don't know what you're talking about, or you're just a conspiracy theorist. You know, that's my favorite one because it's just so stupid. But, you know, when I decided that, all of a sudden jobs started coming in. Money started coming in, and I was like, that was
because
the thing that was blocking me.
You freed up that energy.
Yep. And it was, when I told Randy about that, he said something, I'm going to butcher what he said because what he said was so perfect, but it was like how did he say it? I told you, you probably don't remember.
Yeah, either. And I do remember that you said it, and it was perfect the way you said it.
It was like you gave the prosperity or something a channel to use or something like that. He said it so much better because he always does.
You opened up a block channel. And those are blocks in our lives. And when you when you free those blocks, it allows abundance and prosperity and love and connection to come in, because the universe will only give you what you tell it wants. And by doing that, you're saying to the universe, okay, I have extra room now. I can take on something more positive in my life. In order to do that, you had to get rid of something negative. And it's all good. It's a growth.
Yeah. So then I think about that Darren guy who now I've connected with on the island, who I feel I can talk to just the way that I talk to you, that he's not going to be like, okay, this bitch is crazy, you know. Like I don't think there's any of that whatsoever. I let him know from the very beginning. I was like, there is nothing guaranteed that you can say to me that I'm going to be like, whoa, I've never heard that before. Whoa, that's too much. Whoa, I'm shocked. There's nothing. Because I've had such a plethora of experiences, ghost experiences, ET experiences, seeing shit since 2009, you know, like, and it runs the gamut. I've seen glitches in the Matrix, eggs changing colors in my hands, my shirt changed, you know, like just weird little things like this where it's like, there's nothing you can say to me that's going to make me think, because everything is possible. You know, if we're living in a simulation, the coding can be played with, it can be hacked, it can be changed, you know, and like, I think what I was going to say the last like 6-8 months is that we are coming together for a reason. There is something, and I even had a conversation with this one person the other day, an old friend of mine in Ontario, who is not like us, limited. And she said to me, I didn't say it, she said it. She said, something really big is happening. And I just started laughing. And I was like, yes. And I have some gnosis on what a lot of those things could be, but it's really deep and I just can't really talk about it right now. You know?
But see, that's good because she knows it because she feels it. And that could be a small awakening to some point for her next level. right? Because she actually said the words.
Yeah.
Something's happening. Obviously,
Yeah, she
felt it.
spellcasted.
Yes, exactly. And I got a confirmation for you the other day too.
Nice.
If I can remember who said it, I won't be able to now because I got so much in my head right now. But
Of course.
I will send it to you when I do find it. It might have been a Luna Ash, but she said that people are connecting with their soul fragments right now.
Yeah, like
and
the
I think that's what happened to you when you said
right
you
on the first.
You were connecting with soul fragments of yourself.
Yep. I think so too. And I think, I think we're more powerful, people like us, being spread apart the way that we are.
Oh, absolutely.
That, like Unfuckers Unite has this joke that they always tell, and I think it's just a facetious little joke, like, we got to win the lottery and we got to go buy an island, and it'll be Unfuckers Island, we'll all just live there, and or it'd be a hub that we can all go to, and we can just be unfuckers, and just unfuck it, right? But I don't think how do I say
really
it?
Not realistic.
No, I think it's much more powerful if we are like little pillars of light radiating out expansion.
It's like the chakra points of the earth. We're all placed in our areas and where we're at this time for a reason, because when it does happen, I don't know how many here are going to come together with me. Whoa, is it ever getting windy?
It's the conversation.
Yeah, maybe I should get my wind whistle out. That's going to come together with me and be able to help me help them. But I know they're here. I just don't know where they're at yet, because I don't really, like, as far as anything around here goes, I mind my business. I do my groceries. I go to the shop to work. I come home. It's all about this is my sanctuary. I love to be home.
Yeah.
So as they come up, I'm sure when it's time, it'll happen. But right now, like you met one already on your island.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe we are starting to cluster a little bit, because it's seemingly more of us or something.
Exactly. And I think that we're clustering a little bit now at this time, because it is getting closer to something happening that people are going to need support and knowledge. Yeah. And not that I have all the answers, but I believe that I'm going to receive what I need at the time that it happens to help people.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that this show is one of those steps for the both of us, like the first time we talked, our first conversation on Zoom was like 5.5 hours. And then, but like an hour into it, I just all of a sudden got pinged, and I went, we should do a show together. And you went, oh, I was just thinking that.
I thought the same thing the morning of. I thought the same damn thing, and that's so crazy that you even brought it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here we are.
It was kismet.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And that I feel like that seems to be happening more and more and more. And now I'm having this thought that I've actually not really so much had before. And I don't think I vocalized at all, but I'm wondering if in, each of these little energy points, like you where you are, and me here, and like everyone else, if we're radiating out some sort of energy that's actually waking up the NPCs to a particular, when we say they have a limited capacity, right? Maybe something that is happening when it comes to the awakening is that we collectively are somehow expanding their capacity. Almost like putting more RAM in a computer, or more memory in a computer, or something like that.
I believe our energy is vibrating out further, each one of us, because I did hear something about that as well this past week. Our energy is vibrating out a lot bigger now, and
I think so.
When you come into, because it's big, our aura would be our aura, obviously, because it's the size of it. When you walk into a grocery store, now I've been noticing this happening. People will notice me like that. And I'm a hider. Like, I'll walk into a grocery store and I'm like, don't look at me. Like, I just got to go do what I have to do. I don't want, and I'll just happen to look up and they're staring right at me. They're noticing the light.
Yep.
Whatever it is that's radiating, people are noticing it because I've been noticing them watching me or looking at me. And this, I mean, when I was younger, I used to get it all the time. And I remember saying something about it in a group of people, and they looked at me and they said, you shouldn't be, you should appreciate that people think you're so beautiful. And I knew, I said, I don't think that's what it is. Back then I didn't know. Right. Yeah. And my husband, when, you know, we first got together, the same thing was happening. And he said to me, you know, people want to look at you because you're so pretty. And I said, again, and that happens so much in my life. And again, I did not believe that. I didn't think it was because of that. I thought it was because of something else, but I didn't know what it was. Now I can take what my knowledge that I just said about our auras radiating and place it over there, because like I said, I had 7 brothers and sisters, and I'm the only one out of 7 of us that could do what I did within the family to, how do I want to say?
You were the black sheep.
I was.
Me too.
But I also diffused as much as I could situations, arguments. There was just something in me. I can still feel it thinking about it because it happened on a daily basis. It was very chaotic. And I was able to diffuse. People were, you know, my brothers and sisters were afraid of my dad. I wasn't afraid of him. He didn't scare me. He scared everybody else, and he scared my friends too. My friends would come over and say, oh my God.
That's so funny, because that is really parallel to my experience also, where my sister was always really afraid, and I was just like, bring it. You know, I ain't afraid of you. And then that was where we butted heads, because I wasn't manageable. I wasn't manipulatable. I wasn't controllable, you know?
Right. Yeah. Right. And that's true. I wasn't manipulable.
Manipulable.
Nobody could manipulate me.
There you go.
Manipulative. No, that would be me doing that. But no. Yeah. But at the same time, I was very different. And when I had my soul retrieval with Lisa Reisenberry, she told me that out of this, it was an amazing experience. It really was. Out of all my brothers and sisters, I was the one chosen to clear the bloodlines. And she told me that, and so much made sense to me. So much. And that's what we're doing right now too as a collective. We are clearing the energies that are coming in right now are helping us clear bloodline traumas, bloodline, you know, all the negativity of the bloodlines, so that the ancestors that are stuck here, and there's a lot stuck here, can move on. She also told me I had a lot of support through my ancestors that were around me all the time. Now, that made sense to me when I told you in that email, or that little thing I wrote to you on Facebook saying, you know, when I saw Frank do this stuff, I was like, oh my God, I gotta do that. And then when he came on for one of the meditations and kind of called me out in a way and said, Maureen, you know, to do the meditation, and I'm like, I'm on it. I didn't even blink about it. I was just like, oh, hell yes.
Yep.
And I mean, it's growing. It's, you know, I haven't done it enough because of stuff here. I'm trying. And I said, you know, this past one, I'm going to try and do one once a week. Even if it's you know, 20 minutes. Like this one, last one was long because I felt we all needed it.
Oh, it was awesome.
Especially with everything. Thank you. Yeah. Means
it was so good. I got so cold. I don't know what happened. Let
me tell you about people were saying that. I got hot. I got cold. Well, guess what I learned this morning is that when you get really hot, that's your masculine energy. And when you get really cold, that's your feminine energy. And when your body is in a neutral state and you don't feel either, you're centered.
Mm-hmm.
So it was affecting people's masculine and feminine energies. That was such a confirmation to me. Luna Ash talked about it on her last video that I listened to this morning before I got on here. I was like, oh my God, another confirmation. I'm getting them left and right. So those, when you get hot or cold, those are your masculine and feminine energies working in your body to come together to be neutral.
Yep.
Isn't that beautiful? And people in meditation were saying hot, cold.
I was so cold. I was like, I at a certain point, it was probably like how many songs did you play? Maybe 5 or 6?
Well, it was an hour long, continuous, but it had a lot of the songs that I usually play, but they just they did them differently.
Okay.
So it was just a little bit different, but it was the same songs and just a different, how would you say, you're a music lady. So let's say I take a Celine Dion song and change it. What do you call that?
A remix.
So it's
or a remake. If you use her voice, then it's a remix. But if you re-sing it, it's a remix.
In the title, it did say remix. Okay. But it had more of the techno going on in it. Mm-hmm. Where the original ones are really deep down, like earthy, like really, it gets right to your soul.
Yeah, I felt a lot of air and fire energy in this.
Yeah,
in your latest meditation.
All the songs were about air and fire, and that's why I was using my wind whistle during some of the songs, really close to the. Yeah. So I was actually
Well, I was so cold, probably about 4 songs in, that I was like, I just can't take it anymore. I can't sit here anymore. So I went and I had a shower, and then I came back, and by that time you were talking about what everyone had just gone through, things like that. And but there was a really interesting synchronicities and confirmations, especially the last week and a half, have been ramping up for me. And so the first song that you put on, I closed my eyes and I just breathed, and I thought of nice positive things, like I am powerful, I am light, I am a pillar of light, I am, like Frank always says, I'm a pillar of light, and so I was thinking all that, and then all of a sudden I got a message in my head that I both saw and heard.
Wow.
But it's hard to explain because I don't feel like I really saw the words. So I wonder if it was more telepathic. And Probably. It was, if not now, when?
Oh.
And I was like, okay. And immediately I came out of it. Well, a couple minutes after, when the song was finished, I came out of it and I was like, okay, I'm going to type about this. So I told everybody in the chat about it. And then Joshua, I don't know if I should say his whole name just in case he wants to say anonymous, but Joshua, anyway, he said to me, that is crazy because I just heard, why not? And yeah, so it was like this situation where we were almost asking each other.
Yeah.
We were like saying the same things. Or it was like the two of us were collectively asking anybody, like, if not now, when? Why not? It just sounds like an overbearing Jewish mother, when are you going to get married? Why not?
That just flows together. And another thing that's happening right now is telepathy is starting to get really strong. Uh-huh. So I'm wondering if that was something that you guys were experiencing, and it's very, very possible. Because when you're in a situation like that, and another thing too is I brought in every element, right? So I had the fire, I had the earth because I had my little plant there. I had the water because I did that water ritual, and I had.
Were you hitting a singing bowl too, or a gong?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
It was
wonderful. I brought it all in as much as I could. So I might have overdone it a bit, but it's okay. I have to do that once in a while because I'm a Leo. It's either big or don't go at all.
That's right. That's right. Which is great. And you mentioned this psychic thing, and I was thinking about this last night because when I say there are so many synchronicities that have ramped up the last week and a half, 2 weeks, all the stuff that I watch, like Randy and Emily at Off Planet, and I haven't really been watching Chris and Cherie so much lately, but Unfuckers and Randy and Emily and Frank, you know, it's really weird because I'm going through things throughout the day, and then I put on a show, and they're talking about the stuff that so I'm starting to wonder if, like, okay, it isn't just that we're all coming together through communication, through doing Zoom meetings or shows, or, you know, just talking with people, or even just, you know, Facebook comments and stuff. It's actually that we are psychically connecting to each other. And if you think in terms of like each one of us is a battery, you know, and you can look at it either way. We're a battery for the AI to feed off of, or we're a battery to create something amazing, something very powerful, especially if we come together, you know. Then to have, you know, an NPC friend saying like something big is going on, you know, and you're just like, but this is a person that's so very 5 cents reality is all that there is. You know, I can't talk about my ghost experiences or my past life experiences or any of that, because she's the kind of, you die, you're dead. You know, like if when someone in her family dies, she's so sad about it, so sad, and that's all she has. Whereas for me, yes, I'm sad about it, but then I look at it multidimensionally, and I'm like, well, there's so much more to this whole thing. You know, we never die. It's just the illusion of dying, and everything in this realm is illusion, illusion, illusion. You know, just to keep pushing a narrative, right? To keep you thinking that this shit's real. You know,
we weren't taught that. You know, in the ancient times, they used to cry when a baby was born and celebrate when somebody left.
Okay, I didn't know that. That's amazing and makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely, because that's the gift right there in leaving, because you are moving on to your next job, your next whatever, and it's not negative, and we've been taught it was. That's why people cry when people die. You know, it's very hard for me to cry at a funeral, and it always was, because I was so happy that that person was out of pain.
Was free.
That was, yes.
Yeah, was. Well, I was just going to say, I struggled when my mom died, because, well, I didn't really struggle, but for the first 2 years after she died, and I think it was 2014. We had moved across the country to BC, to Salt Spring from Ontario. So we were 5,000 kilometers away from everybody there. And 5 months after we moved here, she died after a 20-year bout with MS and many issues, right? But I couldn't go back because I was still healing from the issues. So I couldn't keep my legs together and be comfortable. It was impossible. And for 2 years, I mean, I cried the day that I knew about it, you know, and I still cry about it. I think about her when I'm feeling down, of course. And, you know, she was my biggest cheerleader, and she was incredible. And just the incredible, she was very much a lioness, you know, like this big fluffy hair that I have. She was blonde, but she had this big fluffy lion's mane, you know, so she had very much that lioness energy like you do. And it took me 2 years, and then 2 years was when I finally started grieving it. And that was a weird process, because I was also actually grieving the world at the same time, because in November of 2016 was when I connected with Dani McKenney and Lisa M. Harrison, and they were starting to go through all that Lilu stuff. And the word simulation, right, was popped out, and I went, holy fuck, that's exactly what it is. You know, it was just immediate gnosis that this is something, you know, I've never felt it was correct or right or whatever.
Right.
And I used to joke,
feeling like something was
and I used to joke like, oh, it's just a scientist experiment. You know, maybe there is a collective group of extraterrestrials or something like that. Because back then I used to believe in the heliocentric NASA model of what the universe is. Now I don't, you know, and you know, I used to think, oh, it's just a group of extraterrestrials doing some sort of experiment. And then I would think about, there's this one South Park episode called Canceled. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but extraterrestrials come to South Park and say, your place is a TV show that extraterrestrials watch for entertainment. And so I started going, well, maybe that's it. Maybe it's not a science experiment.
Yep.
Maybe we're actually a reality show, you know?
Yeah.
And if you can watch that episode, I would totally recommend it. It's so funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that.
Yeah. And you know, but then when I heard simulation, I just went, holy fuck. That clicks more than anything I've ever thought. It explains why I've never felt right here, why I've never fit in, why I've always been connected to worlds outside and beyond and inside this one, you know, and at the same time, I guess because I was grieving, I was kind of, I grieved the world for like a year. 2017, I was distraught for the whole year. And it wasn't even that simulation was like a shock to me.
You have to grieve it. And that's part of letting go. That's part of letting go of the programs. You are going to grieve them, and you have to grieve them. It's healthy to grieve them because you're letting it go. Anything you let go out of your life, you have to allow yourself to grieve. And I think people, that word, they equate it to death, and it is a type of death because a part of you is dying. A part of you that was implemented as a young child or whatever you learned in school, whatever. And right now is the time to let all these programs go and start your own program and let them go as you don't need them anymore. You're a clean slate. And it's you're so right about the grieving process. Yes, it happens. Yes. I did too.
So 2 years after my mom died, I went through the grieving process for the world itself. And then my grief for her just happened at the same time. And it wasn't that I was ignoring it for 2 years. I still had days where I would cry about it, but then 2017 was literally pretty well the whole year was me waking up, opening my eyes in bed and going, I don't want to fucking do this. I just want to die. I don't want to be here. What's the fucking point?
I went through that too many times.
The whole pointlessness.
Well, and that could have been a dark night for you too, you know.
Oh, it so was. Yeah.
It's important to recognize it, know what it is, let it go, because it's not going to be the last one. There's going to be more. And I've been through many in my life, so I know that it just doesn't only happen once. It happens many times because you're growing. And again, it's the grieving process, and having to accept your new reality is very hard too. Yeah. Just like when you moved to that island, you moved into a whole new reality. You uproot yourself, and then you have to replant. Everything,
right?
Yeah. Everything is uprooted.
And what's really interesting is, like, you know of my experience in the bathtub, and a couple other Fearless members know about it too, and all that. But that was like my physical purging. You know, I dropped 160 pounds in 6 months, literally by doing nothing but living in a bathtub because I was in massive, horrific pain every day. And that was a dark day of the soul for my body, although I know that I was purging emotional and mental things as well. Then when this happened in 2016, where this information came to me, and then I started grieving the world and grieving my mom, now I was purging on a different level. And it was almost like the bathtub part 2 sort of thing. It felt connected to that in some way, shape, or form. And it's hard to explain. It was almost like another aspect was cleansing itself out. I totally get
that. I don't know, for some reason, when you explain things, I see pictures.
Yeah.
Like movies. Just like a movie.
Yeah. Maybe because I'm really visual, so I probably send out visuals too.
It could be, but both of our experiences come into play every time we talk. Yeah. And your experience is very much parallel mine. Mm-hmm. So I can add your experience to my experience and get an answer from it, or get something from it, like, straight away. Yeah. And that's how I've been working online too. Like, when I get into the Fearless group, for some reason, I read something and I connect with it, and it brings memories back, or it brings something where I have to look at it and go, oh my God, I get it.
Yeah.
It's really awesome.
It's really amazing how it's just all coming together. It feels like this giant puzzle that we've all been putting pieces into, and so much dedication our whole lives, you know, like it seems like this is a clearer picture than we've ever had, you know?
Yes, true.
Yeah. Do you need to get that?
It's just a text. I just need to say, okay.
Okay. Well, how about we take like a 2-minute break so I can pee, and then I'll come right back.
Okay.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Where is it?
Thanks for waiting.
I had to let my dog out.
Sure.
Okay, I've got to close the door out. She goes out and she comes right back in for some reason. Well, she doesn't like the rain too much either, but
is it raining?
Yeah, it's been raining all morning.
Raining here too. That's why I gotta rock pisses every 10 minutes.
Yeah. Holding water? You hold water?
Oh yeah, for sure. So like, I'm probably not gonna drink anything. I have tea right here, but I'm probably not gonna drink anything because otherwise I'll have to leave again. I wanted to move the conversation towards Sevan Bomar.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I finally watched the video you sent me.
Don't you find? Remember, I wrote you a text and I said they're done. They're done.
Yeah, he's excellent. You have to. I find when you're listening to Sevan, you have to listen not with your ears.
Right.
Because he speaks multidimensionally.
Yes.
It's almost like all of his different aspects of himself are dropping a sentence from all these different angles. And you have to like visualize and connect with him in almost like a quantum way, you know?
Is very quantum.
And I ended up writing down something because he was pinging me and inspiring me like crazy. So this is what I wrote. And then, the more we seek truth, the more the opportunity arises for us to look into what could help us find truth. And the more answers we get, the more questions arise. Sometimes questions questioning our questions. But as Sevan Bomar says in his recent talk, that's our fuel, the thing that propels us forward and keeps us focused on unearthing truth. It's a constant spiral inward, deeper and deeper and deeper. We go further inward to find it. NASA pushes out there. Groups focused on alien disclosure push the idea of out there. Religion and government, they all push this idea of out there because they condition you to believe the answers to all your questions can only be found through an external entity or set of entities, corporate or otherwise, right? These are distractions, and I want to interrupt my own thing to say I love what Sevan said about distractions being distraction. I've never thought of that as in your car has no traction, so your wheels are spinning and you can't get moving.
Exactly.
And you know, and I'm sure we'll talk about Dani's book in a second because this is what we're heading into is words, right? And spellcasting. But these are distractions and the incorrect direction to finding truth. And that's why these groups push this. It gets you farther away from finding the truth, from finding yourself, thereby making you more confused, more lost, more alone, more easy to control. When you're searching within, however, the questions you come up with, you will get tons of questions, and you will question the questions of the questions, right?
Right.
But you keep going because you're inspired by it. You're motivated. You know, if these conglomerates and everything else, the system itself makes you question certain things, so you get to a place of confusion. But when you go within, the questions that come up bring you more enlightenment, because you aren't faced with confusion. You're excited now because you love this path, right? The answers are always inside you. You just have to be willing to do the work and be fearless when it comes to getting real deep. Slough off those layers of years of deceit and illusion and embrace the darkness.
Exactly. And it's true. I mean, our path showed us that.
Yeah.
And it gave us a lot of confidence. I also took notes from it.
Yay.
So knowledge is wisdom when you apply it. Did you go there? With wisdom, you can surmount anything. And it's true. Knowledge is wisdom. And when you have wisdom, you have confidence. It builds on all of those positive words. Okay?
And that's like the authenticity thing, you know, like an old wise man who's experienced much. He's just going to tell you what he's experienced. And I don't care if you don't believe me or not. This is my experience.
So either grow and learn from it, or take what you need out of it and leave the rest. When we learn to read ourselves and the signs and symbols, we can take control of our own vessel. Then we can know who we really are. Contract means to get smaller and to pull back.
That pinged me too, the whole contract thing. And I was like, okay, that makes me never want to sign another voiceover contract ever.
Or something taking place in something taking place in a secret place. Contract. It's right.
It's the opposite of expansion.
The universe's greatest contract. Technology is everything external to us. Even our bodies are technology. There's another world here overlaying ours. We know it. Our ancestors knew it. This knowledge has been hidden from us deliberately. Atlantis to pyramids, Vegas, the bayou. It's a circuit. On April 1st, the jacks were played.
Whoa. This year, April 1st. What happened?
The jacks were played.
Is that what he said? I remember him saying that, but did he expand?
They lose because.
Did he expand on that? Like saying exactly, did he expand on that? Like saying exactly what happened that day, or what kind of physical or metaphysical thing actually was enacted? Because that was the day that I had that strange experience where I felt all of my fractals.
Yes. And he did go into more. You might want to, you know what? Sometimes I'm
going to rewatch it
3 and 4 times, because every time you get more out of it. Everything he was saying, if you place it all with that in mind, April 1st, the jacks were played. Everything he said around that is the answer. It's like a puzzle. So
he really speaks multidimensionally. It's like he's doing tons of mental and psychic work while he's talking, you know?
We are an alchemical vessel. We are the tree of life. Something is eating our fruit. You're our unique tree. Be resilient. Hold the post. You wither there, will be no more seeds. If you wither there will be no more seeds from our unique tree. That's why this was all an agreement. It's part of the matrix to convince you that you made the agreement. You agreed through your resonance and what you do. You only agreed to this through your resonance and what you do.
Yes.
They suggest what you should be doing. Everyone around you, and you can't see them. And they speak in English 101. They are borrowing our vessels. And we will repeat the same cycle unless you raise yourself.
Wow.
The minute you've signed a contract, the minute you're engaged in a contract, You don't own you anymore.
Yeah.
That contract does.
Yep.
That's why they feed off that. Bank contracts, mortgages, car loans, car contracts. Look at, this is the world we live in.
Oh, for sure.
Belief in oneself is contagious. That was the last thing I wrote.
That's really good. I like that.
But how true is that? And yes, I need to listen to it again, but I hop on to the next one because it's like I'm pigging out on information, right?
Do you remember what it was called so we can tell the audience?
I'll bring it up. It was his last one.
From now on, when I take notes based on a video, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write it down and make sure. It was a shorter one, I guess, because he had to take off quickly or
the
something.
Black. That's hold on. Let me just punch it in here.
Sure. And that's really interesting what you're saying about, in the end, we essentially said like break the loops or break the cycles or whatever. And it makes me think of my husband, Eric, because what's it called? The portal is opening. There it is. Yeah, check that out. If you guys want to check that out on Inner Standing, is his YouTube. Something Eric has always gone through, and he's gotten much better with it, is he does something where it's a teeny tiny little mistake, and then he's like really, really, really worried, and it's the only thing he can think about. He blows up this teeny tiny little speck of a mistake into this giant, stadium of all of his horribleness, and like lives in that mentally. And then he doesn't do it as much anymore. He's gotten better, but every time it happens, every time he does this, and he dwells in this, oh no, I fucked up. Everything's going to be messed up now. I don't know what to do. Everyone's going to be disappointed in me because he's a people pleaser. Something happens where someone writes him back, like the person in question, or it just all works out, and he keeps playing this loop over and over and over. So I was talking to him about it the other day, because we have one of those relationships where we're on a path together. We are constantly calling each other on the carpet. We are constantly talking each other up, reminding each other of the path that we're on, that what we're trying to do, and so I was reminding him, like, you keep doing this. Do you realize that you keep doing this? This happens where you're worried about this thing, and then something happens to show you had nothing to worry about the whole time. Exactly. So almost like somebody who's circling the freeway. They keep getting on the freeway and off the freeway and on the freeway and off the freeway, and they're freaking out, and they're going, I'm never going to find this fucking place I'm trying to find. Where the hell am I? Where's the map? Where's the GPS? I don't know what to do. Get off the freeway or stop getting on the freeway. You have to break it, so instead of continuing, you got to pick a different direction.
That's programmed. He's hard on himself because he's been programmed so deeply. Yep. Another thing about that whole scenario right there is that you need to trust the universe that everything is going to be fine, for one, and that your answers will come to you as you go, as you travel, or whatever you're doing. Let go of the fact that this is called control. We try and control our outcomes when we shouldn't be doing that. We should just be allowing the gifts to come in and our answers to come in. As long as we're fighting against what should be, we're going to get more of that. Well, the minute you let go, the universe can step in and say, okay, now I can help you because you got out of your own fucking way.
Yep. Yeah. And
it's a program. It's all it is. And nobody is to be faulted for that.
No,
nobody is to put down for that. But the learning experience, I'll tell you what, I was one of the worst ones to be just like that. Yep. I was one of the worst. And like I said, in this past year and a half, I have learned so much, and I have learned to let go. And it's taken a weight off my shoulders. I don't feel that heaviness anymore, because now I can say to myself, whatever's meant to be is going to be. I'm going to accept it for what it is, and I'm going to move on from there accordingly.
Yep.
So let it flow. That's why when we started the show, I said to you, let's just let it flow. Because if we start putting timelines in and saying, oh, we're going to talk, it's never going to work out. It will not work.
No. And it's,
so
and
we're
it's,
going to trust.
I'm viewing conversations now, especially ones like this, as I think trees are keys to some answers, because I used to say, we're the lot that we're sitting on, we don't have any trees on our lot, but we're surrounded in all 4 directions by trees. So I have had this theory for many years that trees were here first. They are actually the guardians of something, maybe ancient secrets or whatever, or like divine secrets.
You just came up with that on your own?
Yeah, it was just a feeling that I had one day when I was looking at trees.
No, that's true. They are our ancestors. They're saying right now, well, Luna asked, you need to listen to her meditation from last night. I did it this morning. But she talks in the beginning of it, and she talks. I had to refresh my teeth. She talks at the end of it, and she said, because our telepathy is going to be coming in really strong right now. The animals. She said, talk to them telepathically. Any animal you see, talk to the trees telepathically. You will get downloads. You will get answers. And I've been doing that for a while now, because I've got some beautiful trees in my yard. Some of them are the neighbors, but I still love them.
Nice.
This one tree out here, I wish I could show it to you. I was standing out here yesterday with the dogs, and I looked over and I said, oh my God, that tree has a face. Wherever that my neighbor cut the branches off, it actually has 2 eyes, and they're in perfect spacing. A nose and a little mouth. So it looks like it's... Woo! And he's got this beautiful green head on top of him.
Nice.
And I was telling Jimmy that I've been starting to tap into the auras of the trees. I go out at dusk and at dark. I see the auras better then. It's really weird how I'm staring at it, and all of a sudden this big light appears around it.
Wow.
It's amazing.
That is amazing.
Sometimes there's color depending on the time of the day or time of night. And sometimes it's just so white, it's like somebody shining a spotlight on it.
Wow.
But it's the same shape as the tree. It's not just a round light. It's the same shape of its branches, and the way they're evergreen. So they got all the light has that in it. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
This just reminds me of something that I've been doing the last week that I've never done before. And usually I just feel, you can probably relate, usually I just feel like a psychic compulsion. Like all of a sudden I'll just go, I should do this thing. And then I'll do it and I'll feel benefits from it. And it's not something I've ever really done before or heard someone else talk about or whatever. And just this week, we've had a lot of rain, so I haven't had the opportunity. I've only been able to do it twice because the rain has been kind of taken over in April showers. Something with the sun. Because now with all the Lilu stuff and everything from a few years ago when I was getting into that, I view the sun and the moon and stars as just technology. And I have my own theories about what stars actually are. But anyway, so the sun itself, since I view it as tech, it just kind of like all of a sudden hit me like, well, if we connect with the sun, which I think is tech and is a portal, maybe we can download codes from the sun, and that would be helpful to us and beneficial. So what I've been doing is just standing out in the sun when it's nice and bright and big, and just putting my face up to it and standing with my legs together and my arms up in the victory pose, for like 30 seconds, 1 minute. And during that whole time, I've got a mental thing going on where I'm just constantly saying, I am now downloading codes to heal me and help heal others. I am now downloading codes codes to hold energy, to create balance. You know, I'm now downloading codes to create more, to bring more creativity and more like inner wisdom and gnosis and all of that sort of thing. And then I say affirmations as well, like I am strong,
Good.
I am powerful, I am beautiful, I am effective, I am like just all this stuff. And just doing it for like 30 seconds to a minute, minute and a half or whatever. And I'm not noticing yet anything really prominent, you know, but I don't know, maybe I am, because since I've been doing it, you know, I've been having these weird experiences where I think about something for a couple hours and then I watch a video and that's what they're talking about today.
I know,
It just so happened.
But that is true.
Yeah.
You do get codes from the sun. I don't know if you ever watch Crow 777.
I've watched him before, yes.
He just came out with a video where they found the sun behind the sun.
Nice.
So there's some good ones for you to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I am on his Patreon. Now, the second part of his shows you have to pay for them, but I do have them. The first part of it, you'll get enough out of it.
Cool.
But I could put it on stream, like just without, you know, recording or anything. If you ever wanted to hear the second parts to anything he has to say, I can do it through my stream and we can, you know, Zoom it just for me and you. I wouldn't, you know, put it out to anybody else. But
that would be cool.
But it's very interesting stuff. So you are getting codes from the sun. And Lunash talked about that this morning too.
It was Crow 777. He was the dude that saw the wave or in the moon, right?
The moon wave.
And then he ended up getting blocked.
The lunar wave. Yeah. That's him. But now they're doing the sun. And they do have the whole Lunar Wave movie out now. They're going to be touring around showing this movie to schools and stuff. And they have been accepted in, I think it's Africa, to go and show it to the people there. He said the people there are so open-minded that they invited him. So that's
amazing.
Yeah, people are starting. Look, I can't, you know. Oh, it's raining like a bitch now. I can't stress enough that things are happening really fast, and I've got confirmation from a lot of people that I listen to that are saying it's going to speed up and speed up. Remember, we were talking about time last week. Again, confirmations about time is speeding up. Nobody's going nuts here. It's speeding up.
Well, it's like you and I had that conversation that wasn't filmed. I think it was the first time we talked, and I said, have you noticed that an event, you know, so like you have the beginning of an event, the climax of the event, and then the end of the event, you know, so I think in terms of, you know, like this, pyramids, I guess. I've been noticing, especially the last 6-8 months, again, that since about like October of last year, that events that are happening, the beginning, the middle, and the end, they aren't taking so long anymore. It isn't like this long, gradual, I've been dealing with this for 2 years. And blah. Now it's like 2 days, you've got, okay, here's another thing that's happening. Here's another thing that's happening. And it just, it goes through it really quickly, almost like we are like a purge, like we're purging things faster and faster and faster. And I used to liken the whole time is speeding up thing to like, oh, this is funny. Okay. I used to liken the whole time is speeding up thing back in like 2008, 2009, when I was really like having a mega awakening and everything was coming under question. That maybe, because then again, I believed in the whole NASA heliocentric, whatever. Maybe we are actually just getting sucked into a black hole. So as we get closer to it, we get faster and faster and faster, and it just continually gets. And the reason I'm laughing about that is because what has been happening the last couple of weeks has been that black hole meme. Yeah. You know, where everybody's making hilarious photos of this black hole, you know, Homer with the donut that's actually a black hole.
that is a possibility. Yeah. We're also, when you said purging, like you're like straight on hitting on shit. Yes. Just this talk is you're straight on hitting on shit. So I know that you're getting this knowledge from somewhere because you're like, I don't know, but you're tapping in because we are purging timelines. We're purging the old timelines right now. So you were right on. It's exactly what's happening.
So maybe this is another reason why on the first I was feeling all of this collapse of like all my different fractal selves, because maybe their timelines were disappearing, so they needed a place to go. essentially.
They're going to integrate
you know?
into you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all of this gnosis you're coming up with just during talks,
yeah,
is probably from some of them. Because
yeah,
you're hitting the nail on the head every time you open your mouth.
good. I'm glad to hear it.
As far as I'm concerned.
As far as you're concerned, I'm sure there's other people who'd be like, what are they talking about?
But really, our growth, and we have to say this. Another thing that I heard, and can't remember who said it, but they did say your growth is your growth, and that, you know, you can say at any time that you really don't know anything, and that's growth.
Yeah.
Because in doing that, you clear space for more information, more gnosis to come in. We really don't know anything. We're just tapping in when we need to tap in, right? Yep. And so the truth is, we really don't know anything. We're just talking here.
Yeah, that was something. I watched a video with it's the latest with Emily Moyer and Jeff Gates, and they're talking about blockchain and although it's not predominantly about blockchain, it's also another very multi-dimensional conversation. But she would ask him a question, and he would go, "I don't know," and I just love that because he's not like, well, that's because this, that, and the other thing. Yep. You know, like the official stories are always like, we have an answer for everything. We know what this is, you know. But multiple times he said, I don't know, you know, like he's still looking for that, you know. And I love that is so, that's actually so prominent in this community, not of truthers, because we're all past that, right? This community of people who are connecting and who are, I feel the truth movement looks for the truth to a point, and then it gets stuck there. You know, it's like the UFO movement. It's like people telling the same stories that they've told for the last 20, 30, 40 years at another MUFON conference, or, you know, like, it's just like, you got to move on from that. And you and I touched on this in the first episode, where I said, when my mega awakening happened, thanks to Zeitgeist, you know, and going down that rabbit hole, you know, then I found Project Camelot, and I watched every single, it was just like eating it, you know what I mean?
You have to go down the rabbit holes. That's how you pick and choose what you're going to keep.
Yes.
You know, that's your prerogative as a human being, and nobody is kept away from information. It's all out there. It's up to you to go and do what you have to do. You're not in prison. You can do whatever you want. You leave your house every day and go do what you want. Absolutely. If you think you're in prison, you're going to be in prison.
Yeah,
you know? And your mind can do that for you.
And that brings me to the next part of that, which is after, you know, while I was I guess I could say downloading all of this Project Camelot stuff, and I was learning all of this stuff, and then I was watching Alex Jones, and I was dealing with all of that stuff and everything, and then but I moved past it, you know. And I think when someone is a truther or in the truth movement or whatever, they get stuck in that.
They do.
And it becomes the narrative, and it's like, we can't think beyond this. And so I liken it kind of like you're walking across a river, and there are all these stepping stones, right? So, you know, you check out one thing and you step onto the stone, and then you have a choice. I mean, you've got this rushing river, this chaotic river around you. You can keep going. You know, why would you stand on a tiny little rock in the middle of this rushing, chaotic river? Keep going, you know, get to the other side.
Perfect analogy, because that's a little truth rock they're standing on. Yeah. And there's all these rocks around it that have knowledge, but they want just that one little truth rock.
Yep.
Because they're afraid to move any further, because that's where they're comfortable. And that's okay too. Because everybody's at a different level. When they're ready to move on, they will. Because when I let Alex Jones go, I moved on to something else. When I let that go, I moved on to something else. When I let that go, I moved on to something else. You know, climb the mountain.
And now we have something else totally different. And I don't think we should ever, I don't know, we could name this the consciousness movement or something, but I don't think it should even have a name, because then it starts to become this thing that needs to remain static instead of becoming dynamic, right?
Real evolution.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that's what it is. That's the real evolution. Darwin's theory, like Greg Braden in his talk, right? That little piece I tried to send you, but it just didn't work. We can do that too. Oh, Holly.
Yeah, we'll do it.
I'm up to it's 9 hours.
Oh shit.
I paid like $15 for it, but his book is like
amazing,
like that thick. Amazing stuff. He talks about the Darwin theory and how it's all wrong. Darwin didn't intend for this to happen the way it happened. He backtracked a lot of his, and he has peer-reviewed studies that show that he backtracked and said, look, this isn't what I'm saying. But they ran with what they could use to control us mentally.
Yes.
And it's so sad because the stuff that he brings out in this talk, Holly, there's a lot of gems in there, man.
Oh, I bet. I've seen his 7 Essenes talk.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. It's incredible. And it's nowhere near as long. I think it's like, hour and a half, 2 hours.
This is a book, right? And you can have you can use the little snippets of the videos if you want from chapter to chapter, or you can download the whole thing. I have them all.
Nice.
But I can't help you unless we sit on Zoom and play a little bit at a time, whatever you can handle, because it's 9 hours. We're not going to sit here for 9 hours.
No.
But most incredible, and the way he puts it out, the way he talks, and I've followed Greg Braden for years. I've had so many of his books. Like, I followed him when he had his freaking mullet. I did. Honestly, God, I thought he was the hottest thing on the planet.
Oh, he's super cute. Yeah.
He is so cute.
Yeah.
But he's just, I got another thing in my email today about this, actually. Let me bring this up and show you. Maybe you can take a picture of it if you are interested.
Sure.
And if you can't, I would really like for you to have this. If you can't, why don't you let me buy it for you?
Oh,
so that you can, it's here somewhere. So that you can enjoy as well. Here it is. Did you know your real human origin story? This is
nice.
Get it?
Yeah.
So this is about the whole book. Okay. Now, if you go on to Hay House, that's where you can keep reading or order Greg's book, The Science of Self-Empowerment Now. This is what made me think about it. This one comment, oh my God, holy shit. An honest scientist who is not bound by the constraints of academia, politics, or religion can no longer discount the new evidence about our human origins and still remain credible. That's an incredible feat. I mean, he has worked hard to get here. He has pushed for so long that just things are out of whack. And, he talked about frequencies a long time ago. I listened to those talks. He talked about all of this stuff, but I'm willing, I would like you to have it either if you want the book or if you want the audio, let me buy that for you so that you can indulge and then we can talk.
Okay. Yeah, I'm totally down.
I'll send you the link.
Okay.
Okay. And how can we do it? I guess I can send it through your PayPal, and then you can pay for it out of there because you can pay for it by PayPal.
Yeah.
You want to do that?
Maybe.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
About it, and we'll do that.
And then okay, that takes me, not that specifically, but of course, as we're talking, all of these other little offshoots start growing, and then you kind of like, okay, I'm gonna go with this one, right? So we were talking about trees.
Yes. I
think these kinds of conversations are like trees. if I can say it like that. It's kind of the best way I can explain it. Because it's kind of like, you go out on a
limb.
Yeah, you go on a limb. Thank you. I was gonna say edge, and I was like, that's not right. You need a tree word. You go out on a limb, and something happens where a bud grows because of this conversation. So you go to the fruit that's now growing. So I think that's really funny because that takes us back to what Sevan was saying about they are eating the tree, they are eating your fruit, and I feel like
Because you've given your power away, is what he's saying,
yeah.
right? But when you go out on a limb and that flower starts to form, and then that flower blooms, and then that flower fruits, that whole process is exactly what we're doing.
Yeah, and you're saying it way better than I just said it.
Why I saw it in pictures again.
Yeah, yeah, and I feel like these conversations are like that. There's nothing linear about these conversations, and I feel like it's one of the biggest things that we're actually doing right now. It seems to the outside observer. Well, okay, I'll say it this way. When I'm sitting at my big table and I'm knitting something, or I'm listening to a show, or I'm doing both, or I'm painting something, or, you know, whatever. If someone comes in and sees me on the computer and that's what they see, they think I'm just on the computer. That I'm just fucking around on the computer. But it's like, I'm writing this person, I'm creating this, I'm posting this, I'm promoting this, I'm listening to this, I'm watching this, I'm thinking in multi-dimensions at the same time, you know, while also connecting to things psychically. And there's so much work going on. You know, it was like I was saying to my new friend Darren the other day, I was like, this world here, this is the stage. This is the staging area. You know, and if you think about a play that you're going to see, if you're sitting in the audience and you look up at the play, that's what you see. You see the play. But if you go backstage, that's where everything's happening.
What did Shakespeare say?
All the world's a stage. Yep. Yeah.
You know, there's clues for us everywhere.
Yes.
Absolutely. You need to write a song about clues, life clues.
Yeah.
Blues Clues.
Okay.
Blues Clues.
Okay, so I had another thought during your meditation. And it was when this thing happened with this Joshua person, and he was like, I heard, why not? And after I had said, I heard, if not now, when? And I said, that's super weird. And he said something, and my response was, indeed, right? And then I went, indeed. What am I in deed of? What am I owning in this situation?
Well, and a deed is something that you would do for somebody, right? Or a deed is a written document.
Yeah. It's not really going anywhere. I don't think I'm connecting a lot of things, but it was just something that popped in like, that's a word I've used so many times. And I've never thought about breaking it down. You know, and then of course that leads me into Dani Katz's book, Word Up, which as a linguist, I'm totally into. Have you started looking into it?
I read so much last night, laying in bed, because, you know, with everything that happened, I really had a hard time winding down. Yeah. And I started reading it, and I was blown away.
Yeah, like, she's brilliant.
Page by page by page. Let me go grab it, because there's something that I want to share out of it. It's on my side table.
Okay. So for people who don't know, Dani Katz does what is called quantum languaging. And it's all about the words that we use. And when you get into this, you realize that words are actually casting spells 24/7. So she's got this book that I know this book is going to be incredible.
It is. So it says, enter the magic. I'm going to read the back.
Okay.
This is from Gay Hendricks, PhD, author of The Big Leap and Conscious Loving. Enter the magic world of master wordsmith Dani Katz, where simple communication tweaks produce transcendental changes. Follow her quirky, entertaining path and watch your world change. Yeah. This one is from Jay Levine, founder of LA Weekly. Katz's book is so fun, so original, so deft, so sweetly illuminating, and even scholarly. A vital tool for these uber transformational times, Word Up, little language hacks for big change, is chock full of simple communication tools and tweaks with massive evolutionary implications, informed by the integrated understanding that language is the fundamental building block of our entire known reality. This guide offers visionary insight into vibrational codes and codes embedded within our words. The work sheds timely and relevant light upon the ways we unconsciously language our reality while offering easy, accessible techniques to up-level our communication patterns in service to an unified, abundant all of us, and a peaceful, thriving planet Earth. A Gonzo journalist with a yen for the metaphysical, Dani Katz has cultivated an ever-deepening fascination with the energetic frequencies of words. That's important. Yeah. Devoted to understanding how language programs the subconscious mind, Katz's impassioned investigations led her to develop quantum languaging, a method of deconstructing and perfecting the myriad ways, whys, and hows. Words shape our every human experience.
Oh,
Words create worlds. And it's time we start talking properly.
Yeah.
Like the other half talk. That's why they're so abundant, and we're never, she goes into can, when we use can or can't, or this is where
you're constantly asking permission.
I am going to, choose to, am committed to, or get to. And then she has like little things for you to do, to think about it. Let me just go to the can't, I think it was the can't one. Let's go to this one, authority. Okay. She breaks down authority. Now that's a big one for all of us, right?
Yeah.
The power or right to make decisions. Despite any and all cultural conditionings to the contrary, authority has nothing to do with hierarchy. It is not something we must earn. It is not bestowed upon us by an external source. Mm-hmm. Authority is our natural birthright. Quantum languaging invites us to claim our authority with our every word and to author our lives with our every word as kindly, compassionately, and anything Lee, she's such a cute writer, as we want to. Very, very true. I want to do this one. I want you to do this while we're doing this. Let's do this. This is called the quantum, So contraction, expansion, neutrality, oh my. According to the universal laws of physics, every shred of our material reality is comprised of particles that exist in a state of constant flux between expansion and contractions. Mm-hmm. Words function the same way, with some vibrating at frequencies that expand, others vibrating at frequencies that contract, and plenty that simply vibrate at a frequency of neutrality. Give yourself a few minutes to sit quietly in a comfortable space. I want you to get into this headspace because I'm going to do this for you. Dial down the volume of your thoughts while paying attention to your breath and to the grounded, centered wholeness that you are. Say the following words out loud, one at a time, noticing the feelings that accompany each one. Let go of the connotative associations and focus instead on the physical experience of each word. How each word feels in your throat and in your belly and in your heart and in your pinky toe. Note any colors, images, emotions, associations, or temperature shifts the utterings inspire. So I'm going to put when anybody watching can do this too. Are you in your headspace?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I want you to read these words one at a time. Close your eyes after you read one and feel the feelings inside your body, where they resonate with you and how you feel about
it. Okay, before I start, when you said you're going to see colors, I saw red, and that's the second word.
Funny.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Mm-hmm. Red. Now. Alone. Oatmeal. Is it oatmeal? Yes, it is. I got nothing for oatmeal, like no feelings at all. Yeah.
It's neutral.
Deadline. Deadline. What a word that is, eh?
Yep.
Horizon. That one feels really good. Fence, less good. Kitten, that's my favorite one on the list. Traffic, no good. Forest, tomorrow. Oh, turquoise. That's very interesting.
See?
Yeah.
Do you see?
Yeah.
Okay, so after you read that,
some of those words were very incredibly life affirming and vindicative of my own experiences. Whereas other ones like traffic, you know, a deadline is number one, the word deadline.
I mean, exactly what I thought when I read it.
You know,
deadline. Yeah. Like, what are we saying?
And then oatmeal, I was totally neutral on oatmeal because I don't like oatmeal.
Was the only one in that whole list for me that was neutral.
Yes.
Okay, so he said, note that there is no wrong answers here. We are simply familiarizing ourselves with a different dimensional experience of language.
Yep.
Awesomeness, right?
Yeah.
So you need to get this book too.
Yeah, if I really hope that anyone watching gave that a shot too.
Oh, Josh got it.
No, I mean, either read along with me or felt any feelings after I said the word, because when you don't sit back and think about these things, about quantum languaging and spell casting, which is what we're doing every single time we open our mouths, right? It's like everything feels the same. You're just, you know, your words are connected to whatever emotions you were having at the moment anyway, depending on however you feel about whatever you're telling about, right?
Yes.
But when you break them down like that, it's like when Sevan took that word distraction, distraction, you know, how you have disease, dis-ease, you know, and it really wakes you up. I don't know how to say it. It kind of like it activates.
It does.
Now you're looking at the words from a different angle.
Exactly.
And that's where the answers lie.
That's why he uses the word understanding instead of understanding.
Yeah, I don't stand under anybody.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. So you got it. I mean, I do this every day. When I go to say something, I actually break the word down in my head now, because I've been doing this quantum language stuff for a long time.
Yeah, me too.
But kind of like just on my own, because I don't have anybody really to talk to about it till now. So really, I mean, con is what happens when somebody cons you?
Yeah.
Track, right? Like you can break down so many words, and even like in like anything I buy for myself, I'll look at it, and if I don't like the way the word, if I find something negative in that word, I won't buy it.
Yep. It makes sense.
And anything with meant, government, anything with meant at the end is the mind. Meant is the mind. I like that was a big one for me.
Oh shit, yeah. Control the mind, government. Yeah.
Yep.
And the word religion comes, if I'm wrong, someone will correct me, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. It comes from the Latin religare, which means to tie or to bind.
Right.
To keep something bound.
Or religion.
Or religion.
I put this on my Pinterest. I have all kinds of shit on Pinterest. I haven't been on there in a year or so, but I used to put all this on Pinterest under anything under religion. I put religion. I had so many haters emailing me, you must be a troll and you must be this and that. I just turned off my email, and I didn't even know it was on anyways until I started getting all these nasty messages from these women. Like, and vaccinations, oh my God, they were after me so bad. We're talking like 2 years ago. I just turned off my email and I was like, that's my control right there.
That's right. Yeah, I'm the power of words. And I guess that's why I said what I said, that I think these conversations are creating something, because usually in these circles too, the people who are looking into this stuff tend to look at words also and recognize that there are spells being cast. Exactly. You know, you wake in the morning, you know, the same as you go to a wake and are mourning.
Or
you
good
know?
morning, like, hey, I'm not mourning anything right now. So how can it be good? I want to try and find a good day. Back in the day, they used to say good day.
Yeah, I prefer that.
Right?
Yep.
Good evening.
Good, the way you said it was very good evening.
Yes, as the vampires would say. But yeah, it's something that I'm really hooked on. So I got so many things I'm hooked on. I just hope that I can balance it all and get something.
Well, this is why we have the show, Laureen, and you can tell about all these things. And you know, in spirit of that, I used to open up the chicken door and say happy morning to all my cheekies. And I don't do that now. I quit that. Instead, I'll say what the day is, or I'll say hello my babies, or whatever, you know. And I have a little thing that I say to them at night too, every single time I put them to bed and shut the door. We have 34 chickens, so right now I'm saying I will see all 34 of my beautiful, perfect chickies, happy and healthy, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed in the morning.
There you go.
I say that every single night. I say that just to, you know, and my other favorite one is blue skies. You know, so
that's so awesome. That is so awesome.
Yeah, because we're all happiest. Chickens, the chickens included, when it's blue skies. When it's raining, they're like, well, now we got to spend the day in the carport. And if it's snowing, they don't want to leave the hen house because snow is like, you know. Yeah.
True. It's true. They know.
This has, no, go ahead.
I was going to say, they never had to be programmed to know that.
No, thankfully. But yeah, now I'm changing. Even though I've been aware of this for years as a songwriter and someone who I used to write a crazy amount of, you know, of blog entries and I used to do a lot of journaling when I was growing up because I was living in a situation that I felt the need to escape from daily, you know, so journaling was a way to do that. And it was a way for me to survive, you know, like when you're emotionally, you know, when you're emotionally going through all that stuff and dealing with toxicity and narcissism and it's just like, how could I get through that? So creating and writing were the ways to get me through that. And writing I've been doing way less of because I think I said this last week, because I'm in a situation now, you know, with an amazing person that I live with, my husband. You know, we really have a really great life that I'm so super duper grateful. Like I couldn't be more grateful for it, you know, despite the hardships that you've known about, you know, and I don't feel the need to write as much anymore, but I want to bring that back in. And this actually brings me to something else. It takes us back to your meditation. That when I wrote you afterwards and I said, I needed to do this today to remind myself that I need to do this, that I need to be a part of this, to do meditation again, because it used to be like back in that situation, that used to be another way that I would, what's the word I'm looking for? That I could make it through. You know, there's a certain word I'm looking for, but it's not coming to me right now, that I could make it through that situation, that I could get through it. And meditation was huge for that. You know, I used to crank meditation music and lay a bunch of crystals on my chakras and stuff like that. And it was incredible. And it always made me feel way better. It was my solace, I guess I could say. It was my solace from that situation. And again, just like with writing, I haven't felt compelled to do it, but now I'm feeling that compulsion again. And so I do hope that you do the weekly meditation.
Oh yeah, I'm going to definitely try that. Yeah. I'm going to definitely, I might.
No pressure.
No. And you know what? I won't do it if there's any pressure. That's the thing with me. If I get pressure with anything, I'll back away really quick. Yeah. Because if it doesn't, and you know what? Even though I said it was way too long since the last one, it was perfect timing, especially for, you know, the moon and everything that was, all this stuff that's coming in now was perfect timing. Although I wanted to do it, was in my heart. I wanted to do it so badly, but couldn't get to it. Everything happens for a reason. So now I'm thinking every Monday just to put out a little 20-25 minute quickie. I won't set up such a big altar because it takes me probably 2 hours just to get my room ready.
Wow. And it was beautiful too, by the way.
Yeah, I got it.
The minute I saw your altar, I was like, oh.
And it's different all the time, as much as I can make it different. But one thing I did notice when I when I went into Facebook after I saw that my screen was, and I bought a brand new stand specifically for my meditations, which is sitting on now, but I forgot to hit the button to change my screen.
Oh no.
So the next time, if you're in there, I'll have you come in early with me so that you can say, yeah, it's good. Like you can, yeah, because I have to hit the little turn the screen button on the live video. Have you ever been on the live video in Facebook?
No, I not the watching end, never
there's
the
a lot of
broadcasting.
icons in the bottom that will help you turn your screen, but I can't see unless you're on the other end.
Okay.
So maybe I'll have you come in with me like 15 minutes before I start. We'll chat a little bit, and then you can help me set up my screen, because I thought it was perfect, because I bought my stand and I was like, I was able to put it the right way, but for some reason I didn't turn the damn screen.
It happens.
I know,
right.
but
it was still incredible.
Oh, thank you.
You know,
I'm not gonna be too hard on myself about it. I did let it go quickly when I found out. I was just like, damn. But usually I ask if everything looks okay, and I didn't. I was, getting on with it. So no biggie. I'll fix it.
Yeah, it's these things happen so that we can know not to do them next time.
Right.
It's like the loops we were talking about. You keep coming back to the same loop, and it's like, okay, now I need to get off the freeway. Yeah.
And it's okay to learn by your mistakes, and it really wasn't a mistake. Everything's for a reason anyway. But I don't want it like that. I would prefer a full screen. So I'm going to work on that. It's going to be my focus. So Mondays, probably around, I would say probably around 1:30.
Your time, Eastern. Yeah.
Oh yeah. What are you 2 hours behind me?
3.
You're
Pacific
3
Northwest.
hours behind me. So right now it's 2:30 for me. So it's 1:30, 12:30,
11:40.
Oh, lucky you.
Well, not really, because you've been awake many more hours than I have. You know what I mean?
I have, but I had a hard time getting going this morning, and I knew I had to wash my hair, and I got to blow it dry, then I got to straighten it, then I put a little face on just to have color. Because you should have seen my eyes this morning.
I bring my own color just naturally.
Yeah. Well, right now my skin is really bad because I haven't had any sun. But as soon as the sun comes, I don't wear much makeup. Just a little bit of mascara here and there.
I can't wait till the sun comes back and I can do some more downloading of positive codes.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna too. I did sit in the sun 2 weeks ago when it was out. I got sunburned. Yeah. So one day out in the sun, man, I was getting color real quick.
So it was nice there too, because we got our spring pretty early. We get it usually around like March. The first week of March, really.
My daffodils are all bloomed. My tulips have buds. My crocus is up. Yeah.
Do you have dandelions? We have dandelions.
Do you? You should put some in your salads. No, we don't.
Yes, we do that.
We do have a company that comes in and puts a natural fertilizer down in the front. We don't do the back because the dogs go back out there. They don't go in the front. But we're in a subdivision, which I want to get out of. I want my own piece of property where I don't have neighbors. That I'm not good in a subdivision, especially if there's rules. So I don't like that. Ours doesn't have rules, but my husband is he likes the grass to look nice and green with no dandelions, where I love the yellow.
I like to just leave it go and then let the dandelions and the
that's how I did it all my life, right? I never really had anybody that took care of the lawn like this. But in the back I'll have dandelions. Just I don't know if there's any up yet. My Lily, my big dog, she's a female. When females pee on grass, it turns it brown.
Really?
Yeah, because you have a lot.
But not when males?
Not males, just females. Because you have a lot of acid and other stuff in their pee that kills the grass. So I will be getting dandelions in spots, but it doesn't matter to me in the backyard because I'm redoing all my landscaping back there this year. It'll all be by hand. I'm not hiring nothing out. Nice. Because that's what I do, right? I do all the landscaping here. So I got my gardens, my vegetable gardens all ready to go. But
Good.
I have a nest of bunnies in there.
Aww.
Did I tell you about this last time we talked? The nest of bunnies I found?
Yes, you mentioned it at some point.
It was underneath my oregano plant.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The oregano's coming up, and I got this little hole burrowed next to the roots, and I looked in, and there's all these tiny little baby bunnies in there. So I've been, I covered it with straw, because I buy straw at Halloween. When I set up outside, I set up a big thing for Halloween for the kids.
Yeah.
So I keep some of the straw, and I use it in my garden, but I took a bunch of handfuls of it, and I bedded the whole area around the hole, because my big dog knows they're there now. And I don't want her getting to them. So I watch it very closely until they grow. But I see Mama, she comes around every so often, and you can see that she goes in there and feeds some, and then she does her thing. She leaves, and I have to watch. I'm the watcher right now for the bunnies.
That is so sweet.
So,
yeah, we get a lot of bunnies and deers and stuff here,
bet.
but nobody's burrowing into our garden.
Not that I know of. I didn't even know.
Not that I know of, no.
They'll be underneath plants in areas that you won't even know they're there.
Yeah, our garden is completely, we have I think it's 30 by 50, and it's completely bare at this point. So we take the chickens in there every day and toss their food out so they can poop out there and scratch and everything. And but in a couple of weeks after we till it, we're going to be shutting the door and getting all the growing happening. I think we're just going to go with starter plants, because
I'm going to do my own seeds this year. I don't find that when I buy plants from like Home Depot or whatever that they're very good. Plus I want organic plants, but I do have all my organic seeds ready to go. But I had a greenhouse and the weather took it out. I got it for Mother's Day for my daughters, and I was doing all my seedlings in there, and I was always in there, getting them ready to go. And I had beautiful plants. I'm getting another greenhouse, but that is coming with the when I'm done certain parts of the landscaping, we can put another greenhouse in. So that's my goal right now, is to get another greenhouse out there. So
that'd be great. We're a rainy day. We are definitely in the spring, and I feel like it makes sense, all of this purging that's going on right now because of where we are weather-wise, seasons-wise. You know what I mean? Like, now that we're definitely out of the winter hibernation mentality and emotionality.
We had a thunderstorm last night with a lot of lightning. Holly, it was weird. We were in the truck. We had to go get something to eat. Christopher, at some point, 7 o'clock, I think it was, he was so hungry because after he got the phone call, he didn't eat. Yeah. And so we went for something to eat, and the lightning was horizontal through the sky all the way around us, like so low. It was almost in a 360-degree radius. It just went boop, 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 boop.
Whoa.
Right in a total circle.
That is so weird.
Like right in the atmosphere, like above us. It was the weirdest thing. I've never seen anything like that before.
Did you see it like touching down the ground?
It was going this way. It wasn't going this way.
Is that a thing?
Never seen it before in my life. I've never seen that. I used to sit out in thunderstorms all my life. I love thunderstorms. This was weird. Weird. It was almost like somebody took a light, like a jagged light, and just shot it straight across all the way around. However you looked, it was traveling horizontal.
Wow. So apparently the geomagnetics are hitting us crazier and stranger than ever before, and I have to wonder if that's connected.
I wonder. I don't know.
I don't know enough about lightning to know if that's connected.
I don't either, but the thunder was quite strong. It was very loud, very strong. It didn't last very long, but it was really interesting to watch. It was very different than what I've ever been used to seeing.
That's incredible. If that happens again, try to get video or something.
And that's what I said to Bill. It would have been perfect had we, took pictures or took video. Next time I will. And I keep forgetting I have the room on my phone now, because I got a new phone with as much memory as you can get in it. And I can take videos now, but I keep forgetting it's there because it's quite new. So
Nice.
You're getting tired, honey.
I don't know, something happens where I hit a new place and then all of a sudden I just keep yawning and yawning and yawning.
That's okay. It happens.
Midday slump, maybe.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah. Yeah, I need my lunch, I guess. The chickens need their lunch too.
Either. I'm hungry. It's almost 3 o'clock. So
this has been incredible.
Another good one. Huh?
I wanted to say also, I know you feel this way too. My personal appreciation for all the people who have watched it, our first episode, and who have commented, and Randy shared our video on his page.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. He's amazingly supportive, and it's just very, very exciting. It
is. And I think it's so positive, and it does so much for us. It's going to do the same for other people that watch it. And that's just so amazing that we can do this on a level that other people can connect to it.
Yeah.
Whatever, help them however. And when we get our little phone line in, it'll be nice to just chat with people too.
Yeah, and get some people on too to be our third.
People on. Absolutely, yes. Yeah.
It's very exciting.
We'll work that out as soon as you're comfortable enough. And
I love that we're taking this journey together, and I'm so appreciative for all the other people who are taking it with us, because we're all just, like we were saying, we don't know. We're all tapping into so many different things at once, and it's giving us gnosis, and it's giving us compulsions, of how to change the way we do things, or how to think, or how to feel, and to have this what's the word I'm looking for? To have these confirmations, to have this, yes, I felt that too, or yes, I've been going through that too. It's just not that I need the vindication.
No, but it's so nice. It's so nice to know that you're not losing it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Before I had you and the Fearless family, I had nobody to say, oh, what the hell was that I just experienced,
Yeah. Yeah.
No, but there was no confirmations.
Yep.
Now there's all kinds.
And it's just going to continue to expand and become something I have so many thoughts about everything right now. Now I'm starting to get kerfuffled, right? And I have so many other things that I wrote down for us to talk about that we didn't get to, but that's okay.
Because we can do it again. And we don't have to wait like a week. You know what I mean? Like if we want to throw another one up real quick, then we'll do that.
Yeah,
if I'm available and you're available, we can do it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're not, bound to a timeline. We're not bound to time at all. Because that's another thing that's breaking down that Sevan talked about is the time thing. And so did Luna Ash. The 13 moon calendar is kicking in now, which means linear time is going bye-bye.
Yeah.
And we've all been feeling that too.
It's linear time never made much sense to me anyway, because I was always off in these other.
Follow the clock, and I still can't.
No.
That's why I was late getting on here.
Which is okay. It's totally okay.
Right.
But I think you have also been having this experience, and I wonder if our audience has been. If you have, please leave a comment and let us know. But especially the last 2 weeks, I've been getting 111, 11, 22, 55, 88, 888, but the ones that have been the most actually has been 44.
I seen 44 yesterday.
Yep.
711 yesterday.
Yep.
1010 yesterday. 222. Listen, yep. I took pictures of all of it on my phone, and I just took screenshots. And Luna Ash, her last video, there's a bunch of numbers underneath. She talks about it. Go in there and read everybody's numbers. You'll connect there and listen to it. It's not a very long video. There's 3 she put out yesterday. And it's very important you listen to it because she talks about time and what's happening. So
because I've been getting just constant, and every time it happens, I point it out to Eric and I'm like, this is not real. This is a simulation. Yeah. We're in a computer program. How do you come on? And he's just like, because I'm seeing 11s like crazy, 44s like
Me
crazy,
too.
and 88s like crazy.
Yeah,
it's like
that's
constantly.
Yeah.
And we've even had a few experiences. There was a day last week where we went to Foxglove, which is this place where we buy chicken feed and cat food and soil and other garden stuff and everything. And our bill came to $44.43, and I was like, it was one thing off. But then right after we went to the grocery store, and it was $44 even.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my reaction was, I had to stop myself from going, fuck off, because it's like 44 and then 44 and then like, oh yeah, it's
I do that too. I look at the totals, I'll look at the lady and say, well, I think I should probably get a lottery ticket then while I'm here.
I've made that joke too, but then I'm just like, well, but then I gotta buy a lottery ticket and it's the idiot tax.
It's just $1, here and there. I don't spend a lot on it. Because my thing is that if I win, I'm helping people with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
I know people that need some help.
Maybe I should get a lottery ticket where I play the numbers that have come up the most, because we also had a grocery bill this week that was $92.92. Wow. And I don't know, I think I told you about that. And then after our first show, I emailed you right after, because people who are watching, we email each other all the time back and forth about like, oh, I just thought of this thing, just constantly, you and I. And right after our show, I emailed you and went, oh, I just realized it's 12:12 when I sent that message.
Mm-hmm. It's true. It's true.
So if you're experiencing that, please. Yeah. Anyone watching, please
put
leave
the numbers
comments.
in, so we can.
Yeah. It's very powerful, and something is, like my friend said, something big is happening.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, we're waking up.
This has been incredible. Thank you so much. I have a bit more like energy today. So if I've I know I've stepped over you a few times during the conversation.
We do it to each other, and it's just a show of talk. Who cares?
Okay, good. Okay.
It's not about that.
Yeah. That's something I'm proactively working on in my conversing.
And so am I, and that's fine. As long as you're aware and you're working on it, then don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's that whole tendency. Well, you and I have talked about this before. We're both just natural leaders. Yes. So, and I'm incredibly vocal and you're totally vocal. So it's like, but I think we do a really good job of making space for each other when we need to. Sure. It's just that I get really excited and then I just go.
Exactly. Because you activate something in me when you say something. I remember something, and then I do the same thing to you. And all that is just pinging each other. Back and forth pinging. It's all good. It's all good.
It's wonderful.
I'm not that person that you have to worry about. I promise you that.
Good. I didn't think so, but I didn't think so, but just for the sake of social graces or whatever,
That's a program, honey.
Yep.
Break the program. Yep. We're just who we are.
Yeah.
And unabashedly, you don't mind. Who cares what anybody else thinks? It's about me and you minding or not. Nobody else.
Yeah, and I don't mind.
I don't mind either.
Okay, great.
Okay,
thank you so much for this conversation. I feel like this is like a beacon for my week kind of thing. I look so forward to getting together with you and just hashing.
I know. I read it in your texts.
Good.
In your emails. Yes.
Good. Mwah. Yeah. I love you.
Mwah.
I love everybody watching. We love everyone watching.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes.